this video, I'm going to be walking you through the rose knot and how you can make it nice and sturdy so that it doesn't look like it's falling apart when you attach it to your macrame projects. Hey everyone, it's Nicole here from BOCHIKNOT Macrame, and if you are struggling with the rose knot, this video is for you. So I've seen a lot of your guys' questions and DMs, and the rose knot is something that comes up pretty frequently as a knot that a lot of you struggle with. So I'll be walking you through step by step on a few different variations, and I'll be providing you with some tips on how to make them nice and sturdy and so that it will hold together so that when you attach them onto macrame projects like wall hangings and plant hangers, they won't fall apart too easily. And with that said, let's jump right in. Okay, so we're gonna talk about rose knots and how best we can make them. Rose knots are perfect with shorter strands of cord, so if you have lots of scraps laying around, it is a great scrap cord project because you can include these little rosebuds into almost any macrame project. One thing though is that they're not super secure on their own, so if you're trying to incorporate them into bag patterns, for example, that requires a lot of touching, then it might not be the best fit for a project like that. But something like a wall hanging or a plant hanger, so a project that will just stay put in a spot, this works perfect for. So I have several sizes of cords here in varying cord lengths. Also have a few different types of cords as well. You see there's single strand, and I also have 3-ply here. So shorter strands of cords at around 30 to 40 centimeters long. These are great for smaller rosebuds. I'm going to show you how I make rose knots, and then I'm going to give some suggestions on how to make larger ones. So here we have a short 30 centimeter strand of cord, and this is 3mm cord. So how I make a little rose is I take the loop end, so I fold the cord in half, take the loop end, twist it around several times till I get a nice firm tight loop. Then I twist it around my index finger once or twice if you have a strand of cord that's long enough, and then you kind of pull the loop end through the center, and then you pull on the ends to tighten. So basically you're making a spirally overhand knot, and then this becomes a little rosebud. So yes, this is super small, but then now you're left with some length left where you can attach this onto any project with a square knot or double overhand knot, whichever one works. So here's a small little rosebud. So one way to make it larger is by using a thicker strand of cord. So 3mm here. We're going to use 5mm here, and I'm going to do something similar. But this is a 50 centimeter strand of cord, so it's slightly longer. So we're gonna start twisting it with the loop end so it's nice and sturdy. And then you just want to hold the bottom here 2 to 3 inches left, and then with the remaining section here that we have twisted, and then we're going to wrap it. Now if you're able to wrap it around more than once, so you see here I should be able to wrap it around my index finger more than once. Here's just one wrap around. So starting the second wrap around, we're going to go underneath, and then we're going to go back up at the top like this. So underneath, then back to the top halfway through. Then take the end, we're going to pull it through both loops. You kind of do this while sliding your index finger off, or else you're not going to be able to push the cord end through. Then pull the loop end through, and then we're just going to pull on the ends again and tighten the knot. The key here is to make sure that you've twisted the cord enough so that it is nice and sturdy. The sturdier it is, the easier it is for it to hold its shape. And then now you have a slightly larger rose knot. So comparison, this is 3mm cord with just one wraparound. And then this is with 5mm cord. Of course, this one's not as sturdy as this one. This one's pretty good because it's one wraparound, so basically it's just an overhand knot. This one, it's sturdy enough for something that just sits nicely as a decoration, such as wall hangings or plant hangers, but it would fall apart if you move it around too much. So here is another version. So another way to make it bigger is to couple up 2 strands instead of 1 strand of cord. So here I have 2 strands of that 5mm cord. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it the same way. So gather 2 cords at the halfway point, and then leaving 2 to 3 inches at the ends, we're going to twist it. So once it's nice and firm, it's got a nice rope, then we twist it. So that's 1 wraparound underneath, and then we go up. So making sure that halfway through we go up again, and then slide it off, and then we're gonna pull the loop end through both loops. This might be harder to do if you have very sturdy cord, which is what we have right now because we've twisted it so much. But with both cords that we have a very sturdy rope, and that's good. You do want it to be sturdy because you do want it to be hold up. So holding on to the 2 loops in the middle, then you pull on the cord ends to tighten. And then now you have a rose knot that's almost double the size. It is double the size of this one because we used 2 strands instead of 1. And I used the same lengths. I know I've seen some where people start off with a berry knot in the center and then wrap the ends around to make a rose knot like that. I just kind of like the method of just twisting the ends and then pulling the cords through. I think it resembles the look of a rose. But if you can't master this method and you want to try some other ones, you can definitely do that. So the key here for a sturdy rose is to make sure that you tighten up your spirals. And if you want a sturdy rope to begin with, you can use 3-ply cord. So I have a short, I think probably 40cm long cord here. Yep. And so what we're going to do is the same thing, but you might not even need to twist it as much because it's already fairly sturdy, so we don't need to twist it to the max. And what's nice about 3-ply is you have that extra sturdiness, extra texture to it. So if you want more texture in your roses, 3-ply is a great way. So whenever you make more than 1 wraparound, you go underneath and then you always go back up top before you bring it back underneath. And then pull it through. and then pull on it to tighten. Oh gosh, this one kind of looks odd, but we managed. And voila! We've got another rose right here. This is a 3mm 3-ply. This is the 3mm single strand. This is just one wraparound, that's why it's small. I'll show you the size difference using the same length with 3mm single strand too, and comparing it to this one after using the same length, and I'll show you the size difference. Okay, so this is what it looks like with single strand versus 3-ply. I did make it super sturdy, as in I twisted the cords around until it was stiff before I wrapped it around. And it's approximately the same size as the 3-ply one, which is nice. You just notice that with the single strand, it is a softer look, and you have a bit more of that textured look with the 3-ply. Now, I just want to go back to this. I was wrong when I said this was 50 centimeter lengths. This was closer to 75 centimeter lengths for both of these, and this is around 50 centimeters in length. And this is a bit shorter at around 30 centimeters. Definitely the goal is to twist your cords to the max for a stiff feeling, and then wrap it around. And that is my walkthrough of the rose knots. And that's a wrap with our rose knot tutorial. I hope that the tips that I provided in this video will help you in making the rose knot better. If you guys do have follow-up questions, let me know in the comment section below and I will try my best to get to them. If you guys enjoy these slower walkthroughs of particular knots, let me know as well, and which knots you guys want to see me do this for. And if there's anything else that you're struggling with on your macrame journey, you may find answers to that over on our BOCHIKNOT macrame community on Patreon. We run a monthly Q&A session there, so if you have any questions, you can ask them at the beginning of the month, and I'll answer them partway through the month via video. We also have a lot of exclusive tutorials aimed at helping you master macrame so that you can design your own macrame projects. If you guys are interested in finding out more, head on over to patreon.com/BOCHIKNOT for more details. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.